Good afternoon again. Welcome to the second webinar on available LPV solutions for aircraft. This is the second webinar that we produce as ESSP in coordination with EUSPA. And well, before we start with the topic, I'm going to give you some highlights on some hints and tips on how to use the tool we're using today. You will see a Q&A section on the bottom right corner of the screen. That is the section that you should be using for sending questions to the speakers. If you file any question using the chat button, we will not be able to see it. So please go to the Q&A session for that purpose. Also, before you send any question, you can select whether you would like to send that question to any specific speaker or to all the panelists at once. And lastly, after the webinar, we will also send you 4 or 5 questions that will pop up as soon as you close the window. Please take a minute to fill them up because your feedback is very valuable for us, and it allows us to produce more webinars that are more user-oriented so that we know better what are the needs of our audience. And now let's head on straight to the topic. But first, let me introduce you to my colleague, Claudia. Both of us, we are going to be the speakers for today. And we work on the service adoption team dedicated to aviation, specifically for EGNOS adoption in aviation. And in this webinar, we are going to give you a brief overview on available LPV solutions for aircraft. We will name a couple of tools that we have available on the website. And this is the table of contents. First, we are going to address what EGNOS is, LPV, and we are going to consider the benefits for operators. We are going to give it a different flavor, let's say, and we are going to explain the benefits of EGNOS from the point of view of operators. Then we will explain you what is it that you need to know to equip EGNOS on board, always from an operator's point of view. After that, we will see the LPV implementation status in the European fleet, how many of aircraft flying in Europe currently have LPV solutions or LPV implemented as far as we know. And then we will go with a live demo of the STC and service bulletin tool, which is actually the main focus of this webinar. Okay, so let's go straight for the first topic: EGNOS, LPV, and their benefits for operators. As probably most of you already know, EGNOS is a satellite-based augmentation system. So it works on top of GPS to provide a signal that is more accurate and more integrity and more availability. So that position solution that you are getting if you are using GPS plus EGNOS will be more accurate than if you are not using EGNOS. And one of the main features that EGNOS provides is that it's interoperable with other SBAS systems in the world certified against the same standard. Therefore, if you have a GNSS receiver that is EGNOS capable, you will be able to use that same receiver in the United States when they have WAS there. If we look at the standards from ICAO, we can see that EGNOS provides a signal such that it enables localizer performance with vertical guidance procedures. That is an approach procedures, that is so-called LPV, and the minima provided by these procedures are equivalent to category 1 instrumental landing system approaches. But in this case, there is no need to install any equipment or maintenance any equipment at the airport. As a result, this turns into less fees to be paid by the operator and also by the operator. But we'll come back to that later. On the bottom right corner of the slide, there you can see a typical LPV chart. You have there 3 minima lines. In this case, we have LPV, LNAV, BNAV, and LNAV minima lines. And then on the LPV section, we can see the different category of aircraft, which are the decision altitudes or heights for this particular approach. Now, if now we focus on the benefits for air operators, we have divided them in 3 on what we see is the most to be highlighted. These are operational, safety, and economic topics. We'll go one by one on each of them to see all the benefits that EGNOS provides. From an operational point of view, the most obvious one is the increased landing chances, because with EGNOS, you are reducing the minimum line as low as 200 feet decision height. And that means that you are able to decide whether you are going to land or not closer to the runway. Therefore, you are increasing the landing chances. Also, if we recall the PBNIR regulation, we will see that it is actually a de facto mandated for operators as well, because PBN will be seen as normal means by 2030. So you would expect all instrumental runway ends to have published some kind of LPV procedure on each of the runway ends, and therefore PBN is for operators to use those runway ends. Moreover, you can also get operational benefits from EGNOS by using closer alternatives, which would also provide you the possibility to perform Cat 1-like approach procedures. And also, there are no procedure-based turns or racetracks, so therefore you are also getting an additional operational benefit from EGNOS in this particular sense. And there is no need to worry very much, let's say, about the workload on the pilot, because the EGNOS layout on the cockpit, it is ILS look-alike. And most of the pilots are already used to fly ILSs, so therefore it is not a huge effort for them to change from ILS approaches to EGNOS approaches. And besides, there is no need to perform rhyme check before departure from if you are using EGNOS during the whole flight. So these are the operational benefits. Now, if we focus on the safety benefits, the most important thing to consider here is that the vertical computation of EGNOS is calculated geometrically, and that means that it is not affected by the QNH setting. It is not affected by temperature, and since you will not be using the ILS, you avoid catching ILS secondary lobes. And EGNOS provides a more stable approach procedure signal than ILS. And that is only derived from the fact that EGNOS calculates the vertical guidance geometrically. Now, if we consider also other approaches like VOR or NDV, we can see that EGNOS provides the pilot with more situational awareness, and we see a reduction of the close flight into terrain. That is on safety side, but if we focus now on economic side, which is probably the most interesting for most of you, is the first one is savings due to avoid the disruptions. And when we say disruptions, we mean DDCs, delays, diversions, and cancellations in general. And not only the disruptions per se, but also all the events that come after. Because from every disruption, you are not only losing money for that specific disruption, but also for all the side events that come after. On top of that, we'll have again the PBNIR regulation, by which we expect a decommissioning of a number of nav-aids, of ground nav-aids in specific, and at airport level. So that means that probably the airports are going to charge less for using their approaches, because they require less maintenance. Also, from economic point of view, we can also focus on the Green Deal, which is very well known today. And indeed, EGNOS provides the capability to reduce fuel and CO2 emissions, not only for the continuous descent operations, but also because of what we saw earlier on the operational point of view, because there are no racetracks or base turns, and therefore, you also are avoiding disruptions and diversions, and therefore that is economical savings after all. And moreover, as we saw on the previous slide, SBAS is interoperable with other SBAS systems in the world, and therefore, if you acquire a SBAS capable GNSS receiver here in Europe, and you would like to use SBAS as well in I'm going to say United States, because SBAS is well known, you will be able to use it without the need of any change. And indeed, it will be seamless for the pilot and at the receiver level. And now that we have seen all the benefits that EGNOS can provide when implemented, let's see what you need to know to implement EGNOS. What is it to implement EGNOS? What it means? Now, there are three different kind of capabilities linked to EGNOS, and it is very important to be able to differentiate between them, so that you can come up with the best solution for your particular case. These capabilities are SBAS, ADSB out with SBAS, and then LPV. The SBAS capability responds to those GNSS receivers that are able to process the SBAS signal. That means that when on the cockpit, when you are shown on the map with which you are shown, it is more accurate than using GPS alone, and that's it. If you would like to use that enhanced signal to be broadcasted to other airspace users, you will need ADSB out based on SBAS. And in order for that to happen, you will have to connect the transponder to that position solution, the enhanced position solution. In this way, you will be able to have ADSB out based on SBAS, and of course, a GNSS receiver that is able to process the SBAS signal. In any of these cases, so if you have a GNSS receiver that is SBAS capable, that doesn't mean that you will be able to perform LPV approaches. That goes one step further, because yes, you will need a SBAS capable GNSS receiver, but you will also need your aircraft flight management computer to be able to perform the appropriate computation so that it can guide you, well, the pilot or the autopilot, through the descent profile that is implemented or is required for that LPV approach. So it is important to differentiate between the three of them. First, you get SBAS, which is required for the other two, and then you can select or not ADSB out based on SBAS and then LPV. Now, these are the three possibilities to implement EGNOS. And in this slide, we can see the different solution types that you can choose from to select each of the capabilities that we talked earlier in the previous slide. So for instance, the line fit solution provides the SBAS functionality from production line. Well, SBAS functionality or LPV functionality or ADSB out based on SBAS functionality, depending on what you select as for the capability. And the most important thing to highlight here is that the solution is included as part of the type certificate of the aircraft. Either it comes as a default or as an option. The functionality is included as part of the type certificate. That doesn't happen with the service bulletin or the supplemental type certificates that we have there. For instance, in the service bulletin, the modification becomes part of the type design of the aircraft, and that is why the document has to be approved by the state of design EASA. Whether it is for, this can be applied for aircraft currently in production or out of production aircraft, but it has to be part of the type design. Now, if we consider now the supplemental type certificates, in these certificates, they design the necessary changes to implement on the aircraft and its configuration. This has to be developed by Part 21 approved organizations, and they must achieve certification by us. So depending on your particular case, you will have to go for one option or another, depending what best suits you, what suits you best, right? So we can see some examples here. For instance, for line fit, here we had either by default or as an option. And by default, we have two examples here, the Airbus 220 or the Pilatus PC-24. However, for the Boeing 777-9, LPV comes as an option, but from the manufacturing line. That is why we added on the line fit section. On the other side, service bulletins, we have a couple of them for the Airbus A350, the ATRs 42 and 72, and also for the Embraer jets. And lastly, we also have the supplemental type certificates. We have a couple of examples there. The Boeing 737 Classics and Next Generations have the STC, LPV STC available in the market. Also for the De Havilland Dash 8s, there's Beechcraft Super King Air 200s, and also the Cessna Caravan 208. These LPV solutions are available as in the form of STC, and you will be able to find not only this but also the previous ones in the STC tool that my colleague Claudia will explain you in a minute. And indeed, for the second part of the presentation, please let me hand over the floor to you, Claudia. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sergio, for the presentation, and many thanks to everyone that is attending to the webinar. I really hope that you are enjoying the session. So give me 1 second while I present my screen. Okay, well, so far we have seen a brief overview of the EGNOS system and the benefits that LPV brings to air operators. Reviewing basic concepts that needs to be clarified when talking about equipping with EGNOS and LPV, such as the capability that EGNOS brings, LPV, ADS-B out based on SBAS, etc., or the means that an air operator has to get these functionalities, such as line feed from production lines, a service bulletin, or a supplemental type certificate. So, what are we going to address in the remaining time of the meeting? We are going to see the implementation, LPV implementation status on board the European fleet, and we are going to review the historical evolution of these figures. We will then drop to the STC service bulletin tool, a live demonstration, and we are going to get the deep details of it and the capabilities that it provides. And lastly, but not least, we are going to review the free resources and tools that the EGNOS service adoption team has available for the aviation market in order to adopt this EGNOS system. Okay, so the LPV implementation status on the European fleet. First of all, it is very important to note that, as stated in the slide, in order to conduct LPV approaches, the aircraft must be properly equipped and certified against LPV. But on top of that, the operator must have the operational approval from the competent authority. So, two topics very important: the aircraft equipped and certified. And secondly, the operator that operates that aircraft has to get the operational approval from the authority that approves these operations. And another important aspect to highlight before entering into describing the figure is that these figures are the result from conversations with air operators and aircraft owners. So, what does this mean? This means that each aircraft that is clarified here to be either LPV certified or either LPV operational has been confirmed with these two stakeholders, either the air operator or the aircraft owner. And this means that the real figure on the LPV equipage could be higher than the one that are described in the figure, because there are a subset of aircraft units which we don't know the certification status because we have not verified yet with the air operator or the owner. So now we are going to describe the monitorization status as of June 2021. So if we take a look into the left figure, we see two types of monitorization. First of all, in dark blue, we see the monitored units in service that are currently flying. And in light blue, we see that the aircraft units potentially equipped with LPV that have been ordered in the last 3 months. So these are the two kinds of monitorization that we perform from the service adoption team. And if we place the attention on the monitored units in service, we have the units which we don't know the certification status, and the units which we have identified and verified to be either certified or planned certification in gray. So if we place the attention again in the gray figure, in the gray slides of the pie, and we move to the right part of the slide, sorry, we can see three subsets. The first of all is the LPV certified aircraft that are not yet operational. That means that the aircraft is equipped and certified, but the air operator doesn't have the operational approval yet. Then we see the ones whose certification is ongoing and that we hope that in the future are certified and operational. And then we see the most important figure, and that are the ones that currently and that actually can perform LPV approaches, that are those that are certified and the air operator has the operational approval. So from all of this set of monitored units, we have 547 aircraft units that are currently flying LPV approaches. So we have seen the status as of June 2021. That was the last update from our team. But now we are going to see these figures, how they have evolved over the years. So we see that with the years, more and more aircraft are being equipped with LPV, equipped and certified. And we see that, in fact, since we started this monitorization, the figure has been doubled from June 2017 to June 2021. So as Sergio explained, PBN will be the normal means for air navigation by 2030. So this PBNIR de facto mandate for air operators would make these figures to grow even faster than it has performed in the last 4 years. So here we have the same monitorization, two types of monitorization, the new orders and the monitor units that are in service. Inside the monitor units in service, we have the ones whose certification is unknown, the ones that are LPV certified, the ones that will be certified in the future, and the ones that can fly LPV approaches, that are the ones that are certified and operational. So another important characteristic of this graphic that needs to be explained is that from December of 2020, we have incorporated new sources of information and we have changed the monitorization of the new orders. We now have access to monitoring more aircraft units, and we update the new orders figure to be the ones that have been placed in the last 3 months. Previously, we gave the accumulative picture. As you see, the number increases over the years. But now we are only showing the aircraft units that could potentially be equipped with LPV from production line in the past 3 months, the orders that has been placed in the past 3 months. So it is more updated and more up to date, sorry. So now that we have seen the evolution of the LPV implementation on board the aircraft, we are going to perform the live demonstration of the tool. That is the main purpose of this webinar. So when we access to the EGNOS user support website, the user that is interested in getting the details of the tool has to go to the upper part of the website, and on the menu bar, it has to place the mouse over resources and tools, and a list of resources will drop down, and the user should click on SBAS and LPV Solutions available. That is the section in yellow. So as you can see, there are a lot of resources and tools that we have available for aviation users and another market segment users, but mainly aviation. And we encourage you to enter into the website and to see all the capabilities that these resources give to adopt EGNOS and LPV. So now we are going to perform the live demonstration. We go to the EGNOS user support website. It may take a few seconds to load. Okay, so following the steps that we have described before, we go to resources and tools, and we go down until SBAS LPV Solutions available. We'll click on this option, and we see the tool. So, as stated in the disclaimer, in this text that you can see here, this table provides an overview of all the SBAS and LPV solutions that are available for air operators in the form of a supplemental site type certificate, STC, a service bulletin, SB, or any kind of solution that is provided from manufacturing line, that we say it is line fit. So we have the three ones, STC, SB, and line fit, as Sergio has explained before. So this database is fed by a lot of different sources of information. We have the EASA STC database, and mainly we have the information that all the aviation stakeholders provides to the EGNOS user, to the EGNOS service adoption team. All these actors could be avionics or aircraft manufacturers. It could be DOAs, operators, etc., etc., etc. So it is in continuous improvement, and it's for sure accepts any kind of feedback. So now we are going to use the tool. And here we have the filter section. And in the filter section, you can select all the solution that match with the requirements that you want to apply to the tool. The user can select any type of manufacturer here. It can type the model, the solution holder that offers this SBAS or LPV or ADSB capability, and the functionality that is separated by ADSB, always based on SBAS. Only the ADSB solution based on SBAS are shown, the LPV, or the ones that are combined, both LPV and ADSB. And of course, the reset button if you want to see all of them. So we are going to see an example. We can look for the A350. So if we select here the manufacturer, Airbus, and we type here the A350, it shows all the possible solution that matches with that selection. Here we can see that there are 4 solutions, and it can be separated by functionality. We see that there are the ADSB functionality and the LPV functionality, and we see the 2 different models of the A350 line. We see the 1000 and the 900. So you can see here the following information: the aircraft model and manufacturer, the functionality, the solution type, service bulletin, STC or line fit, and the solution status. It can be already offered to aviation users, and it is stated as ready, or it can be planned to be certified in the future, and it is stated under the name of ongoing. We can see here the service bulletin or STC code when applicable and when it is available, and we see the solution holder that offers this capability to the users. And finally, we see here in the table the applicable models to which this solution is offered. Okay, so we have performed a search for a certain model, and now we are going to select a certain solution holder. So here we can select, for example, Gamma Engineering, and it automatically filters all the solutions that Gamma Engineering offers. So for Gamma Engineering, we can see here that a specific EASA STC code applies to a lot and very different aircraft models. Why is that? That is because it is an AML STC, an applicable model list STC, that permits doing that for general and business aviation. Usually, in commercial aviation, a certain STC is developed for a certain aircraft model. But this AML permits doing that for a wide range of aircraft in general and business aviation. Well, so we can go for other solution holder, maybe Fokker services for commercial aviation. We see here that they offer different functionalities, ADS-B, LPV, and ADS-B for different Boeing aircraft, also Airbus aircraft. And we see here that, for example, the Boeing 737 next generation, that is separated by the different models, have a solution for LPV and ADS-B at the same time, and it is ongoing. So we expect, I believe it is expected for the next year. So we expect to see these solutions certificated and offered for aviation users. We can go through Collins Airspace. Here we can see the different solutions that they offer to Beechcraft aircraft models. Well, you can, I encourage you really to use the tool and see all the possibilities. But the scope of this tool doesn't end here, because the user that goes with the tool can export the entire database in an Excel file. It is automatically downloaded here, and if we open it, we can see here that a lot of data fields were hidden in the web interface. So here we can see that a lot of data fields are available. The ICAO code of the aircraft, we see if the aircraft is in production or not. We see the aircraft segment, commercial, regional, business aviation, etc. We see the applicability, when an STC code is applicable for the different aircraft model variants, and the avionics model, either the MMR model or the FMS model, etc., etc., etc. All the avionics components that are involved in the solution. And last but not least, we can see the details and comments that have been gathered by the EGNOS service adoption team. So you can consult a lot of information here. For example, if we filter by solution type and we select the line fit solutions, we see here that the Airbus A220, both the 100 and the 300, is equipped from production line by default. And how can we know that? We go to the comment section and we see here that the LPV capability is provided as the standard from manufacturing line. So that means that the air operator doesn't have to decide whether they want LPV or not. It will be automatically equipped from production line. Well, so the live demonstration of the tool ends here, but this tool is an open tool and it is in continuous improvement. What means that? What does it mean? That means that we are open to any feedback that any aviation user or a stakeholder can provide to us. If you have any comment on this, if you miss any solution, you can send an email either to the EGNOS help desk or the EGNOS service adoption mailbox. And please give us your comments and tell us what you think about the tool and what you are missing from the tool. Okay, so coming back to the presentation. Now that we have performed the live demonstration, we are going to give a brief overview of the free resources and tools that, as EGNOS service adoption team we offer to aviation users in their adoption of this system. So we have a lot of resources, such as the LPV map, in which you can, in an interactive way, consult all the LPV approaches that are implemented in Europe, in European aerodromes. We also offer tailored traffic assessments and cost-benefit analyzing in order to help air operators to decide whether it is convenient to invest in LPV or not. And we also have promotion materials such as success stories, our EGNOS bulletin, in which you can consult all the implementations that are being performed in Europe. And now that the COVID situation seems to be better, we hope to see you in presential events in order to show our simulator. We have a physical simulator and a virtual reality simulator that provides an immersive LPV experience, such as just like if you were a pilot that wanted to fly an LPV. So thanks everyone for attending the webinar. If you want any kind of information, you can consult the EGNOS user support website, and you can send an email to the EGNOS adoption mailbox. So we expect to know about you more. Thank you, everyone. And I think that we can go with the Q&A section. So I'm going to okay. So I see in the Q&A section, I see one question. Sergio, if you may, maybe you can answer this one. So how can we get operational benefits from closer alternates?
Thank you, Claudia. So yeah, if you remember, I mentioned on the operational benefits for operators that you can get operational benefits from ECNOS by using a closer alternate. Okay, this comes from a kind of tricky history, let's say, story. So an operator, when they design a route, they have to select the alternate airport with to which they will have to divert to in case they have to. So if the alternate airport that you define is farther away than another airport that has some kind of LPV solution, some kind of LPV procedure published, you will still be able to perform a precision approach procedure to an alternate airport that is closer to the previous alternate, and therefore you will have to load less fuel from the beginning of the flight, and that applies to the whole flight, so that you will be reducing fuel, CO2 emissions, and also money. And we say it is operational because with less fuel you can actually go farther in a way, right? So that's why we say it is operational from provided by EGNOS. Okay, I see a couple of them here. There's an easy one. There's a user who would like to know if the recording will be available. Yes, it will be available. We will publish it on our website. It is being recorded right now, and therefore we will share it with no problem. You will be able to see the presentation as well. And I have more questions here. There is an user who would like to know, Claudia, maybe you should answer this one. There's an user who would like to know from your live demo why the 777X solution does not apply it on the database.
Okay, right. We can go. I think we can open the tool. So I'm sharing the content. Okay, so it was the 777. Okay, if we look here for the 777. Well, okay, there are a lot of functionalities that are provided for the 777, but only the 777 line has offered the LPV solution with a service bulletin. So it is offered from production line, but it will be in the future since it is not delivered yet. But it will be for this aircraft variant. For other 777 models, there is not yet the LPV solution offered, but we expect to see new solutions developed for it. But for the moment being, it is only planned for the 777-9. Okay, maybe it's my turn to question you. Here a user says that I saw that the A350 has only service validating for solution type. If you order a new A350 and you want to equip it with LPV, can you do it from the beginning?
Yes, in fact, you can. Yeah, there is a service bulletin solution for the A350, so it is an option. You just have to select it whenever you would like to equip it with EGNOS. You can, if you go to the tool yourself, you should probably be able to see that there is a service bulletin solution for the A350, and that comes as an option. So you can select it without any problem. I also see another quick question here on the Q&A section. It says, I will answer myself if I may, Claudia. He says, I will welcome the opportunity to learn more about the LPV business tool. And he asked whether it would be something that they can access from ESSP website. So there are a number of tools that we have made available. Claudia, I mean, you can find all of them on the resources and tools section. But I think this particular one is speaking about the traffic assessments that we perform to operators completely for free. We have not turned that into a tool yet. There are tools that working in that direction, but in order for us to perform a traffic assessment, a tailored traffic assessment for operators, they can just contact us directly and we will perform it for free without any problem. And not only that, we can also analyze cost-benefit analysis. We perform cost-benefit analysis, which is one step further than traffic assessments and in some manner. And so these are the tools that we make available for users. And then if I go to the last question, there's a person here asking how much would be would each solution cost? Whether would that be possible to add that on the export on the export? Claudia, can you answer that one, please?
Okay, thank you. Well, in fact, that is very sensitive information. So it is not easily provided by the solution holders or the developers. But if any user is interested in knowing how much each solution costs, it can go to the STCSB tool and go to the solution holder, and they can contact them in order to know the offer that this DOA or manufacturer provides to this specific user. Okay, so the remaining question, I think we can stop here. But the remaining questions will be answered privately because some of them have more extensive answers. But we will answer them privately. And if you have any other additional questions, you can ask it via the two emails that we have provided, the EGNOS help desk and the EGNOS adoption mailbox. So thank you everyone for attending. Now, when you close the meeting, an automatic pop-up will be disclosed, and it is a very brief survey that really helps us to improve our webinars, and we really encourage you to answer it. So we would really appreciate it. Thanks everyone. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Take care.